Hello, hello. It's October 14th, 2019, and we're going to dive right into Proverbs 14. Try and learn some wisdom today. A wise woman builds her home, but a foolish woman tears it down with her own hands. Those who follow the right path fear the Lord. Those who take the wrong path despise him. A fool's proud talk becomes a rod that beats him, but the words of the wise keep them safe. Without oxen, a stable stays clean, but you need a strong ox for a large harvest. An honest witness does not lie. A false witness breathes lies. A mocker seeks wisdom and never finds it. But knowledge comes easily to those with understanding. Stay away from fools, for you won't find knowledge on their lips. The prudent understand where they are going, but fools deceive themselves. Fools make fun of guilt, but the godly acknowledge it and seek reconciliation. Each heart knows its own bitterness, and no one else can fully share its joy. The house of the wicked will be destroyed, but the tent of the godly will flourish. There is a path before each person that seems right, but it ends in death. Laughter can conceal a heavy heart, but when laughter ends, the grief remains. Backsliders get what they deserve. Good people receive their reward. Only simpletons believe everything they're told. The prudent carefully consider their steps. The wise are cautious and avoid danger. Fools plunge ahead with reckless confidence. Short-tempered people do foolish things, and schemers are hated. Simpletons are clothed with foolishness, but the prudent are crowned with knowledge. Evil people will bow before good people. The wicked will bow at the gates of the godly. The poor are despised even by their neighbors, while the rich have many friends. It is a sin to belittle one's neighbor. Blessed are those who help the poor. If you plan to do evil, you will be lost. If you plan to do good, you will receive unfailing love and faithfulness. Work brings profit, but mere talk leads to poverty. Wealth is a crown for the wise. The effort of fools yield only foolishness. A truthful witness saves lives, but a false witness is a traitor. Those who fear the Lord are secure. He will be a refuge for their children. Fear of the Lord is a life-giving fountain. It offers escape from the snares of death. A growing population is a king's glory. A prince without subjects has nothing. People with understanding control their anger. A hot temper shows great foolishness. A peaceful heart leads to a healthy body. Jealousy is like cancer in the bones. Those who oppress the poor insult their maker, but helping the poor honors him. The wicked are crushed by disaster, but the godly have a refuge when they die. Wisdom is enshrined in an understanding heart. Wisdom is not found among fools. Godliness makes a nation great, but sin is a disgrace to any people. A king rejoices in wise servants, but is angry with those who disgrace him. Okay, the very first verse, interesting. Whether a man or a woman, I really believe that one of the parents should stay at home edifying the house, raising the kids, being able to move the pieces around in the house and be able to, build it up. Not necessarily physically building it up, hammering stuff together, doing the plumbing, the electrical work, although that's part of it. But edifying the children, edifying uh, their minds, providing them with attention to help them grow. I mean, plants and flowers, yes, they grow out in the wild, um, but to produce a harvest, you need to tend to it, right? If you want to be able to eat from that bountifully. So, first verse says, "A wise woman builds her home, but a foolish woman tears it down with her own hands." Verse number 4 has always caught my attention in respect to a church. So it says, "Without oxen, a stable stays clean, but you need a strong ox for a large harvest." So an ox is a big, brutish, unclean beast, um, pretty much that is working in dirt all day, just moving it around. Um, I don't know what the term for it is, but it's pulling that machine that is plowing the. I guess it's the plow. it's is kind of digging up the dirt and making a way for the seed to be planted. Well, same thing in the church. Yeah, if you don't have these brutish people that are just plowing through and making a way for the seed to be planted, it stays clean if you don't have them. But then, if you want to reach a lot of people, you're gonna have to go through a lot more work to stay clean and be able to have a big harvest. So that in itself presents an idea of balance. Like, at least as human beings, is it really possible to be completely godly, a saint? I mean, obviously there are people that in our own eyes have achieved it, but I wonder, like Mother Teresa or Saint Augustine or Saint Augustine, however you pronounce it, um, like our memory of them, yes, saint-like. They were definitely of service and sacrificed their lives for the greater good. Same could be said for Dr. King, Gandhi, and so many others that I don't have knowledge of. But do you think they really never lost their temper or never made a mistake? Of course they did. It's just that they did their best to always maintain composure, to always be looking at the bigger picture of believing and fighting for something bigger than themselves. Verse 8, very important. "The prudent understand where they are going, but fools deceive themselves." So, being prudent and being wise are literally synonyms. If you are paying attention to the future, to the possible consequences, you are being prudent. If you go to a pool and there is a diving section, it has a low diving board, a high diving board, and a middle diving board. This is a structure made for that. You know that you can go to the high dive without much thinking about it, and with a little bit of skill, you jump off and you land, and no problem, you swim to the side. But you know the conditions in place. For new conditions, say you go to a river and there's a big rock and there's a big body of water down there. From up there, it looks like you could dive, but the prudent would definitely go down, check. It kind of exaggerated, but to the point, like would measure the depth Like maybe take a measuring stick or, swim down to the bottom. And then, only after knowing that you're gonna fall into a secure spot where you could actually survive or not get injured, would a prudent person take the leap and jump off of that cliff? You know? Um, but fools deceive themselves. They think that they can handle whatever situation without planning too much. Another interesting thing that prudent and wise people take into consideration is verse 10. Each heart knows its own bitterness, and no one else can fully share its joy. And this is probably because, or at least in my experience, I understand it to be, that since we are so subjective to the life that we've grown up in, to our own experiences, and how we take in those experiences. Because my sister and I can watch the same movie and then call out different parts of the movie as our favorite, or like see the same scene and pick out different aspects of it. Like she'll be saying, "Oh, did you see how his eyes sparkled while she was saying that?" And I'd be saying like, "Wow, did you see how he like kind of smirked, like giving off two different things, like both in essence the joy of the moment, but one maybe a little bit more mischievous, and yet the other one a little more naive." Um, Perspectives that two minds that grew up in the same household. Now, I don't know if King Solomon had this in mind um, when he was writing this down. However, what the train of thought that I just had, plus verse 13, definitely leads me to exhort people to please do your best at sharing your heart, sharing your true feelings. The most respectable, res, the most respectable way, but to share your true feelings. Because 13 says, laughter can conceal a heavy heart, but when laughter ends, grief remains. So don't keep it locked up inside. Try and share it, because even though you're out and about with friends and you're having a good time, yeah, I'm not saying be a bummer, uh, but your true friends are there for you and they want to help you through these things. Now, verse 15 steps in at a most opportune time. It says, only simpletons believe everything they're told. The prudent carefully consider their steps. Hello, search for yourself, um, study, build a relationship with God, have Jesus be your guide, invite him into your life, search for your own truth. Please do not be a sheep, be a pastor. So that when you do your best to be prudent and to be a pastor instead of the sheep, and you search for yourself, verse 18 becomes more vivid in your life. Simpletons are clothed with foolishness, but the prudent are crowned with knowledge. So if you're prudent and if you're looking to what the consequences of your actions are, you're probably researching what to do. You're probably gaining examples and other people's perspectives of what is happening in most people's lives when they take certain actions. And if you follow them, if you in that moment become prudent, then the reward is a crown of knowledge. Okay, so chapter 14 is definitely about planning and preparing and looking towards the future. Let's look at 22 again. If you plan to do evil, you will be lost. If you plan to do good, you will receive unfailing love and faithfulness. This is a king writing these things down. A king definitely has a council of advisors and definitely plans like months in ahead before taking steps. Definitely make a point of planning out your life, trying to visualize the future, see what possible outcomes may occur, and then taking the steps, following through with those plans. Glory to God. And then definitely follow through with the plans, because look at 23. Work brings profit, but mere talk leads to poverty. Verse 27. Fear of the Lord is a life-giving fountain. It offers escape from the snares of death. So even if you've made mistakes, fearing God is definitely going to bring you life. Another thing that is very applicable is that if you fear the Lord, you're definitely going to respect what He thinks of you more than what other people think of you. And it's going to help you in maintaining integrity and conviction in your moral principles. Now I'd like to drop it off at 29 and 30 tonight. The rest of the verses, though important, I find myself with little to say on the subject, so better not to say anything at all. 29. People with understanding control their anger. A hot temper shows great foolishness. To my understanding, it's good to express your anger, but as it says here, in a controlled manner. Don't let it get to that boiling point where you hear the whistle of a pressure kettle, you know? Because at that point, you can't control your anger. Once it starts to fester, once it starts to show itself, try to express it controlled. There's nothing wrong with letting people know that you're angry, but you don't have to scream at them. You don't have to agredirlos, be aggressive towards them. You can stop yourself and in a calm manner let them say that that is not something that's going to fly with you and address the situation. But being hot-tempered shows great foolishness. So don't let it get to the point of where you're just flying off the handle. And now 30. A peaceful heart leads to a healthy body. Jealousy is like cancer in the bones. These two things are said together because, in my opinion, a peaceful heart, if you have peace in your heart, you can be happy for other people that are succeeding and finding their blessings. Jealous people won't be able to, and it eats away at them. They're like, well, why is this person X, Y, and Z, and if getting their blessing when like I this, I that, and they're not seeing that maybe there's something that's missing, or maybe that person has been working longer at it, or whatever it is, the reason that, I mean, for starters, if you're looking at it in a jealous way, like being anything other than happy for the people that are blessed around you, that's probably a big reason of why you haven't received your blessing. And it's most of the time that you don't see your blessing because you want something more. You're ungrateful, but that's neither here nor there. My point was more towards the peaceful heart that it leads to a healthy body. Literally, if you're being happy for other people, you are having less stress in your own self, and your body is literally going to respond in a peaceful manner. Um, just like Our thoughts provoke the hormones in our body that secrete and drive us into a more relaxed or stressful state of being. So thank you. Hope you learned something. I know I certainly did. And I hope you have many blessings in your life. I wish you the best. Please search for yourself. Please invite Jesus into your life. Let him be your guide. He's shown me so much. And be safe. Lots of love.